greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amba News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution and Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amba TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news, untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amba TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambatv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team. The Amba World Draft Award 22 is here. People, it's time to win again.
This is the time for us to draft until we draft. That must be our slogan and rallying cry now. And along the way, we should be asking ourselves some critical questions.
Are we still enjoying 3 square meals a day? While our boys on the ground lack the basic gear they need to resist the occupiers?
Are we still living a life of luxury and comfort, while our brave restoration forces lack medical supplies at the home front?
Are we still throwing big birthday bashes while our restoration forces lack basic communication equipment to maximize their efforts?
Are we still going on cruises and expensive vacations while our IDFs on the ground go without food and logistics?
Are we still finding excuses not to make the necessary sacrifices and drafting big while our restoration forces lack the game-changing equipment that they so desperately need to bleed the enemy?
On a daily basis, how much are we putting aside for our liberation, knowing that only through the fierce resistance are we going to liberate our beloved country?
Are we providing the federal government and the CIC the means to carry out some of the critical intelligence and other special operations across the national territory?
As we ponder these questions, we must remember that a goal that is not founded is nothing but a wish. And we must not let Ambazonia die as a wish, because we failed to fulfill our patriotic duties by making the great sacrifices befitting a great people.
The World Draft once more is coming to your county. Stand up and be counted. No greater victory was ever achieved than by greater sacrifices. We are enough, so let's draft, and draft until we drop. Our existence as a people depends on that.
It is Award 22. Let us draft until we drop.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best.
Good evening and welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. I am Star Smart. Let's begin. It is a curse for Southern Cameroons to have entered into a union with La République du Cameroon. Sons and daughters of Lebialem have come together to see how their development can be tailored. But there is a problem. The colonial administration may politicize the situation to insinuate normalcy, adding to the fact that they are now trying to lobby clergymen into coercing peace and at the same time ignoring justice. Meanwhile, Anu wants to be a messiah towards Phone Drive. Intelligence told that John Egawa, in unison with Abongwa and Marianta, have turned against Christopher Anu, Mike Fossey and the US-Canada axis, with speculations of the divide centering around money. While our perusal through social media shows Ambazonians are not taking it lightly, they have got some questions to ask, ones we hope to look into with some amazing guests in Undaunted tonight. But before we get into the details of all this, let's get the prime headlines.
Prime headlines for today, August 16, 2022. We'll start with the story. While Libya 11 was drafting on Saturday, certain natives purportedly embraced auto-development. We'll also look at the bad nature of the Womb Road again. Also, coup plotters debacle is another story that we will be giving to you today. The hell that colonizers have created of Ambazonia is another interesting story. We'll also look at activist Ochiba Nelson's part, where he brings the rhetorical questions. And the question is, who is Christopher Anu? Also, blacklegs from Donga Matun County meet their Waterloo in Uncle Sam's country. And in sports, Tuchel and Conte sent off as Chelsea and Spurs draw. The first ever promise by the colonial president Paul Biya to the people of southern Cameroon was in 1983. In his maiden visit to the southern Cameroons and precisely in Bamenda, the chief town of the Midland region, the colonial president of La République du Cameroon Paul Biya promised the construction of a ring road to link 6 of the 7 counties that make up the Savannah region and the Midland region of Ambazonia. He did assure the peace-loving people of Ambazonia that he will personally supervise the construction of this ring road. This is definitely a very serious issue. When the colonial president of La République du Cameroon fails for over 30 years to deliver on the first major promise he made to our people, how can one be surprised if the people tend not to trust him again? I am Oni Okbala, and this is where we begin the full briefings of Undaunted tonight. And tonight on Undaunted, we will also have a young Akumbe and, of course, Mr. Tapa the King. Star Smart is here as always. Good evening, Star.
Good evening, Onyi. The road linking Bamenda to Womb through Bafut is atrocious, I must say. The road is worsened with the heavy downpour lately. The road was passable during the dry season, even though in a very poor state. The stretch of road is part of the ring road promised to the people of southern Cameroon in 1983 by colonial president Paul Biya. From 1983 to 2022 is 39 years. That is 39 years that the people of southern Cameroon have been waiting in vain. The ring road measures approximately 357 kilometers long, dividing this distance over the number of waiting years, which is 39 years, therefore means 9.15 kilometers was to be constructed each year, but that has never been the case. At press time, the county of Womb is cut off from the headquarters of the Midland region in Bamenda. This Bamenda-Womb stretch of road is only supply route for basic commodities to Womb, with the stop of circulation as a result of the state of this road. This locality is deprived of the supply of basic goods and medical evacuation equally from Womb to Bamenda, which is now being made very impossible. The importance of the ring road to Savannah and Midland regions is really at this height.
Now, the importance of the Bamenda Ring Road project cannot be overemphasized when it is considered that the road links as many as 6 of the 7 county headquarters in the Savannah region and the Midland region. Now, this is also why the issue of the Ring Road project concerns the people of the entire Ambazonia. Also, as it is commonly asserted, where a road passes, development follows, obviously. So when the colonial government of Paul Biya fails to link a locality with a road, now it only shows logically that development will be blocked from going towards that area.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best.
According to reports from Mimi Mefo, the past few days have been rough for many Cameroonians in different parts of the country following heavy rains. I think she is talking about Ambazonian only because all the examples she has provided are all in southern Cameroon.
I think so too, Star. Well, some believe that she is a La Republique du Cameroon proxy journalist anyways. Now, according to reports by Mimi Mefo, in Libya County, there were landslides that left at least 4 dead. That report we brought to you yesterday. Now, this is just a follow-up report. The Bamenda Manfe Road 2 was cut off by landslide owing to rains. We had that report yesterday, like I mentioned.
And it's worse because in Meme County, the road from Mboge to Bale Estate 2 was flooded, leaving heavy-duty trucks stuck in the mud, and the images are really terrible to watch.
Look at Wum Road. There's traffic on the roadside. The traffic is direct for roadside, so. But direct traffic is so, Papa. Only traffic, Papa. You see, I'm not 2 one time where they just stand up for one place. The other one is struggle. Number 3, the one guy struggle, they have a jackam. Yes. See, gang no sweat, all of a sweat for this small place for commodity. So gang no sweat. All of this small place for commod.
All right, now that video you saw there is a video of the Bamenda Womb Road, which we brought to you earlier. It's pathetic how the road is filled with so much mud and the people stranded. So you can imagine someone that has an appointment, how many hours he or she would have to spend on that spot, on the road entirely, before he or she can get to a place of appointment. Or imagine how they can be properly dressed and then get stained along the way. It's highly pathetic, the kind of pain, the kind of serious disaster people would have to pass through just trying to survive in Ambazonia. All right, meanwhile, this report here says black legs from Donga County meet their Waterloo in Uncle Sam's country. Now, the shameless lie-telling team was made up of hangman Ngala Gerald. He stood MP on the ticket of Yaoundé Crime Syndicate CPDM party, who doubles as proprietor of the terrorizing gang. The vigilante squad in Nkambe local government area specialized in stealing, kidnappings, and settlement of skulls in Donga Mantun County. Another CPDM page. Naomi Mboyo, MP for Ndu local government area, and Adamu Edward, MP for Unwa local government area. The trio were bearers of another La Republique du Cameroon MT living together agenda to lobby the Wumbing community and Donga Mantun County elites residents in the U.S. that all was well and that they may turn their backs to the Ambazonia liberation struggle. Unfortunately for them, their mission was dead on arrival as the wise people of Donga Mounty boycotted, and hangman and Lady Ngala Gerald and Naomi Mbongyo got stranded at the said BBQ ground and decided to call it off. Even their courtesy call to the phone of Njorong village, Ndu his local government area, His Royal Highness Fong Nganjo himself, a U.S. citizen on the eve of the planned gathering in order to tap royal blessings, didn't help. This is because the CPDM junta has corrupted traditional rulers and transformed them to royal beggars, and many of them have severe ties with their subjects. They no longer uphold the hitherto cherished traditional values inherited from the ancestors, and their libations no longer hold grounds.
The Wimbom community shamed the fraudulent and fugitive MPs in the face that they don't have any constituency in the diaspora, that they should go back and clean their mess at home and not run to the diaspora to where they are not welcome. Even the few CPDM sycophants that came and discovered an empty hole had to leave in shame. From the way the event was advertised, many expected to see the hangman Ngala Gerard in his usual show style by posting and writing misleading messages on Facebook. But unfortunately, luck did not fall on him this time. No hiding place for killers of our people. This set of people have been taking advantage of the genocidal war declared on peace-loving Ambazonians by dictator Biya and French Cameroon to chase away their opponents and kill some. They equally masterminded the Ngabo massacre, where over 35 innocent souls were killed, including a pregnant woman. They have been arming the Bororo Fulani militias to terrorize civilian populations in Donga Matung County, killing, burning houses, and carting away cattle in tandem with the colonial administration. The Wombo community in the diaspora say, next we will ask the U.S. government to revoke their visas and freeze any stolen assets they possess.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best.
All right, we have our in-house analyst for today. We have joining us for the first time here on Undaunted. We have Ayong Akumbe, and also he is an activist, by the way. So you're going to be ready for some action words today as well. We have Mr. Tar here, our news director. Let's hear what they have to say from the stories we have so far. All right, you're welcome. You're welcome to Undaunted, Mr. Ayong Akumbe. You're welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you too. It's a pleasure to be here. I just got the call today, so I am very impressed. And as a matter of fact, I am very impressed with the whole presentation. All right, I am quite impressed with. I wasn't expecting this level, such a high standard. So I'm quite impressed. To get to the point, we were talking about the road problem in Cameroon, the promises that Paul Biya made since 1983. When Paul Biya came to power, that was when the Cameroon Bank was basically embezzled to the point where it closed down. Marketing board was completely destroyed, again by embezzlement. Now, just to make it clear to you guys, marketing board was a place where the farmers used to go and sell their produce. So the government would buy the produce and help them ship it to markets abroad. So there was a lot of money there. This is somebody from Bia's tribe. He stole all the money from marketing board. So this was a period which we were coming out from our, not long when we used to be West Cameroon, when we had our own government, we were now experiencing the pain of being with La République du Cameroon. This was the period when the pain started hitting. The whole country was just getting more and more bankrupt. PWD closed down. All the caterpillars were taken from PWD and they were taken to Yaoundé, and those caterpillars was then rented back to Saudi Cameroonians at a very, very premium price. So basically, at this point, Biya was always in France, gambling, staying in expensive hotels. I don't think he realized what financial was, to be fair with you. He did not realize that if you go squandering money like that, buying expensive houses, man is got to go in, I'm not lying, He has an African president. Think about this. An African president who is supposed to uphold the pride of his own culture, his own nation, has a house in France with a bodyguard. This is the kind of people we're talking about. His daughter is in California, in Hollywood, mixing with the rich and famous. She goes to school with limousines. I'm not making up these stories. This is available on the internet. She goes to school, limousine that costs about $2,000 a day. That's the type of money. This is kind of squandering. That's what we know. So my point is, it's not that Paul Biya does not want to fix that road. I'm afraid to say the money to fix the road has been squandered. He squandered it. He started squandering that money. Him and his clansmen started squandering that money around that time. They had businesses, shareholdings in Europe and America. Their interest was abroad. Their investment was abroad. Their friends were abroad. Their house was abroad. They were living outside Cameroon. That's where they were living. So they did not realize that if you go squandering money like that, you're not going to have money to actually carry out projects in Cameroon. If you go back to the time of Ahidjo, he wasn't living like that. Ahidjo was an African. He was proud of his country. He respected the culture of the different tribes. He spent all the money in Cameroon. He did not go and live in hotels in France. He did not have a chateau in France. He had the money to look after roads and projects in Cameroon. If you go back to Foncha, tell me what and on, please. If you go back to the time of Foncha, which was between 1961, he did lots of work with, I think he started Cameroon Bank. He did Amba. He had something to do with the marketing board. It was a vibrant, organized system that we were running at the time. So I'm afraid Paul Biya, basically he came and just bankrupted the country. So he doesn't have the money to carry out these projects. He might want to carry out the project, but I'm afraid to say the money he has squandered it himself, him and his gang. That is the problem. Okay?
Yes, I
So
wanted to just emphasize, I wanted you to emphasize on something. Are you saying that for over 30 years, Paul Biya hasn't gotten the money to fix any roads in Ambazonia? Because this is not just the only road we've talked about. I mean, there are so many other roads that we've brought out here, from Bamenda to Ring Road to the T-junctions to Nkweim. I mean, the roads are very, very bad. And I mean, there's one we even titled the Road of Mold Baptism, because, I mean, you see where travelers would have to fall into the mold, which is obviously a road. Are you saying that for over 30 years, he's been squandering money for over 30 years? Don't one get tired of eating public funds?
Let me give you a good example. I come from a place where you have timber. We produce a very large amount of timber. Okay? The Cameroon government has gone there and they've extracted timber worth probably $1 billion. There is no road going to my village up till now. They've extracted, the man who is in charge of my timber is Paul Biya's son. He's the one who is organizing, taking timber from my village. This has been going on for nearly 20 years. He's destroyed the whole rainforest. The animals have become, we've lost most of our animals because there's no way for them to stay. There is no single road. I last went home in 2016 and I had a meeting with the villagers. And when they started telling me this, I was completely shocked. What happened? They gave, when people started saying what is going on, they gave 1 million to 20 villages. 1 million francs CFA.
Please, Mr. Akumbe, just for confirmation purposes, so that we can add your village to the list of places where there are no roads. Please, where is your village? What's the name of your village?
Well, okay, I don't know what I don't want somebody to go and cause trouble to my village.
Oh, okay. No. We just wanted to add it to the. We have a list already of some places where there are no roads
Now,
that we have confirmed. We just want to be sure, but it's okay if you don't want to. It's fine. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can now.
From his name, yes, from his name, you actually can identify where he's coming from. He's from Manu.
Yes.
Let us not precise. That's where I'm coming from. And you realize that the stretch of road that links the main cosmopolitan city of Bamenda with Manu into Nigeria, Widikum, was blocked just the other day because of the landslide. So it is the same thing that he's trying to talk about. He may not want to precise. There are a lot of villages. When you go to Tinto, there are other farm to market roads like you were reporting, where we have to get goods and services to the urban regions for sales, and there's virtually no road. Now this road that we have officially is called Enugu Highway. It was not constructed by Cameroonian government. That's the only road
Correct.
that has a good car from the Bamenda stretch into Enugu, Nigeria, and Onitsha, where people go to do marketing. That was donated by the World Bank, and Cameroon the colonial administration can barely maintain it. Now, if I just have to chip in something very quickly into all of that, I want to cue in from another brother. Thank you for respecting our invitation and just coming on a very brief notice. It shows you're a real activist for your people. I really like to see you on the screen so that I see your beautiful smile. The point is this: you see Shantabia's daughter Brenda. She pays taxi to school every day in California for $2,000 in a country that has one of the lowest per capita incomes in the whole world. That's a country that is solely, most of the citizens, the two Cameroons put together, are unemployed. The government that is the highest employer of the both countries does not employ up to 10% of the public. That is bad for a government in any macro economy. A government should not, the private sector should be the highest employer. But you have the Cameroonian government, and it is because of the CDC that is in Ambazonia that makes them the highest employer. If you take out the CDC, then you could imagine the misery that should be in a country that has purportedly gained independence for close to 60 years. It's really unfortunate.
Sorry to cut you there, Mr. Akumbe. Please go ahead with your narrative about not having good motorable roads in your village. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so they gave 1,000 francs to my. I mean, I sat with them. We had a meal together. My mother passed away, so I went there to do the celebration. Then I explained to them. I said to these people, I said, do you know how much one of those trees actually cost? The trees that you're just giving away to the government like this. Do you know how much one of those trees, how much profit they are making from one tree? They said some of us are selling it here for 100,000. I said one of those trees is about 20 to 30 million. One of those big Iroko. They've taken thousands from there. And they've given 20 villages 1,000 francs, 1 million, which is about $2,000. The people were completely shocked by what I said. They could not believe it. They went and burned all the gas that the Cameroon government brought. Amba. They just went the next day and they said, these are some caterpillars, and they burned them all. Some of them were taken to the police station, and my uncles just told the government, said, you've taken so many trees from here and you've given 20 village 1,000 francs. Okay, The amount of money they've made there in that place, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. If you've taken hundreds of millions of dollars, surely you could feel sympathetic to the people and say, okay, what I'll do is I'll just give you even a motorable road, a small motorable road, build all your bridges for you. So I'm talking small culverts. They could have done that for maybe $1 million, maybe less than that. But you see, the problem is that these guys have already mortgaged the money. That's why I'm saying they don't have any money. When Paul Biya's son comes to you to chop your trees, that money is already been accounted for in European. There are timber companies in England, there are timber companies in France who are waiting for this timber. They probably have already paid him at a cheap rate, but since he's a sour man who likes to enjoy himself, he probably is taking a fraction of the money. So he's not got market value for it, but he needs the money to be buying his Ferraris and living his expensive life in France. Go to France, you find all these Ewondo people driving expensive cars everywhere. I'm not making this up. Go to France and see yourself. So basically, they've spent the money that they are taking from Sonara, from timber, from whatever they are taking this money from our agriculture. That money has already been mortgaged. They've spent the money. The other day, I was listening to a video from WhatsApp, and somebody came out with a list of Cameroon parastatals. CDC is bankrupt. Pamol is bankrupt. Everything is bankrupt. All these companies, Sonara has about 250 million pounds worth of debt. Sonara produces oil. How can Sonara have a debt of nearly $250 million? So Sonara oil is just going to be paying debt. There is no money. So what we're saying is these guys have already mortgaged that money in gambling in America, buying chateaus in America, buying property in America and in France and in Switzerland, and just basically squandering it. There are a lot, I can go on and on. There are a lot of Cameroonians who are living in America right now who are on a full salary from the Cameroon government. Do you know that? There are people who are workers in Cameroon. They've left Cameroon. They are living in America, in Europe, in England, and they are on a salary. I have examples. I know some of them. The Cameroon government, all you need to do in Cameroon is to go to your employer or your boss and say, I'm in America, can you just organize for my salary to be passing? The salary will be passing. He will take his cut. He will take his own cut. If the demand is on 500,000 or 400,000, he takes the other guy will take maybe 150,000, he sends you 250 in America. I know people who are receiving Cameroon salaries and they are resident in the United States. When you have that kind of system, you're running a bankrupt system. The system is bankrupt. So when Paul Biya says, I'm going to do this tomorrow, he's just basically buying time. He can't do the project. He is buying time so that you guys don't throw him out. There's no money.
All right. Would you also want to say something about Ngala Gerald?
You mean the guy who visited America?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it me or?
Yes, you. We are still with you. This is your first time here. We really want you to feel at home. Yes, so please go ahead.
I don't want to do all the talking. Okay, I'm not too familiar with the story, but this story has the same pattern, right? We have been annexed by La République. It's the same. We know the story. So what La République wants to do is they want to try to deflect attention from this annexation. That's the first thing they are doing. They are very good at it. They are deflecting attention from this annexation because then they are guilty as charged. The Cameroon government has no answer for this annexation. They have zero answer. So what they are doing is they are creating deflection tactics and changing what you call changing the paradigm. So that we are busy talking about oh, they've killed Field Marshal, oh, there's a war going on here, oh, the Gute has come to make a speech about this. It's all deflection tactics. The question is, why did you take over another United Nations trust territory and take control of it and start to rule it? Who gave you the authority to make Southern Cameroon yours? La République does not want to answer that question. What they want to do is to keep us within their country and then start giving us crumbs. Like what they did with the Grand National Dialogue. In the Grand National Dialogue, John Frundi mentioned the word West Cameroon Federation. What happened was Mr. John Frundi was booed. He was booed, and Francophone did not want to hear anything about any kind of sovereignty of Southern Cameroon. That is the status quo. Francophone people, like some of you don't hate like federalists. I understand what you mean, but La République du Cameroon does not want to hear anything concerning the annexation. What they are doing, sending people here in America, is to try to come and deceive you that we are one family, and basically creating this impression that we can work with them. They are a very nice group of people. They are friendly to us. Think about all the killings and all the bombings and all the burning of houses that has happened that we've recorded. BBC has recorded La République burning houses. BBC has recorded La République burning hospitals. When somebody is like that, they have militarized the whole southern Cameroon, completely, deliberately send soldiers to occupy every area. They are committing very hideous crimes as they militarize the area. They are doing Calais, which basically is arresting people, arbitrarily arrest, and forcing people to pay the money. Even 10-year-olds have to pay 25,000 to be free. So the problem is they know that we don't want to be with them. There is no Southern Cameroonian. Right now, I can guarantee you that. Look at the Republic has done in the last 40 years and what they've done since we declared our independence. There is no Southern Cameroonian. I don't care what game they are playing, who wants to be with it. What is how came to do in America is part of La République deflection tactic to say, we are quite happy where we are. We've come with peace. We've come to visit you. And the more you start to accept these people, and welcome them. And what that is going to do is they're just going to be pushing more and more in that direction, but without actually solving the problem. La République wants to resolve the Anglophone crisis without actually making any compromises. So we remain the product of La République. We remain an annexed people, but within that annexation, they want to give us special status. They want to give us a regional council. They want to do all these things, but the status quo doesn't change. You remain. In fact, we are actually called La République du Cameroon right now.
The fact is that
would
you
definitely
remain annexed.
Yeah. No,
You
go
remain
ahead,
very
Mr. Tan.
annexed.
Yeah, we're La République.
You remain very annexed. The status quo, like you said, remains the same. The special status is the biggest arrogance that you can ever find in the world, because we came in as two states of equal status. So where did our status dissipate to? That they are suddenly suggesting or imposing a special status. It's all fraud and arrogance. And like you said, total assimilation, belligerent occupation of a territory that is not theirs. Now, on the Gala
Yes.
Gerard issue, Gala Gerard, like Dion Gute, like the other one in Yaoundé, all of them, Moja Moja, Ngole Ngole, Paul Atanganji, they're all birds of a feather. These are supplanters, these are blacklegs, these are people, they actually know that they are house slaves, but because of greed, because of selfish gains, they would rather go into the deals they are going into to achieve what they are achieving for themselves. Um, it's really a complex situation, taking it from my elder brother's Akumbe's point of view, that every Southern Cameroonian really doesn't want Cameroon. I would say to a great extent that is correct. But for some selfish reasons, some of them maybe because of their houses, their Yaoundé, their investment, or their personal ties with the government, would rather just put everybody a slave than to let go of that. So we are both correct in that aspect. They they really would prefer free Southern Cameroons that that is economically vibrant and that makes them citizens of a respectable status. But again, they at the same times, house slaves are those who really know what is theirs, but they are not bold enough to stand for it sometimes. And sometimes
Yes,
evil
yes.
can. Yes, thank you, ladies. You can go right ahead.
Yeah, we're definitely going to come back to you both. Let's just take this report from the Libya Lem development, and then we'll get back to you after this break.
Okay.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best.
Report has it that the people of southern Cameroon are fast becoming the imperialist. Now, Biya's regime has nothing good in stock for them. In fact, nothing good can ever come out of La République du Cameroon for the people of Ambazonia. With this in mind, the people of southern Cameroon's Ambazonia not only have lost but are determined to man their affairs. It is a course for southern Cameroon's Ambazonia to have entered into a union with La République du Cameroon. Sons and daughters of Libya Lem have come together to see how their development can be tailored. But there is a problem. The colonial administration may politicize the situation to insinuate normalcy.
The slogan, Libya Lem shall never be left behind, was adopted by sons and daughters of Libya Lem who converged at Mountain Hotel Conference Hall on Saturday, 13th August 2022 for a socio-economic conference. Created since 1992, the county with headquarters in Menji was experiencing a limping socio-economic growth until 2016 when development was derailed by the war colonial ruler Paul Biya declared on the people of southern Cameroon with evidence in the destruction of private properties, insecurity, and violent extremism, leaving the county in a shadow of itself. Sons and daughters of Libya Lem were encouraged to hold each other accountable, consider the need to boost the socio-economic condition of their land and not depend on the colonial Yaoundé regime.
Now, the county is 30 years old this year. When we look at the statistics in terms of socio-economic development, we are way back. Socio-economic life has degraded beyond the time the county was created. Now, this is unacceptable. Secondly, our division continues to be in the news for the bad reasons. We want to put an end to that rhetoric, particularly our headquarters, which is a total ghost town. We are going to go back to Menji to chase the rodents and make our capital city lively, and elites disclosed.
Elites indeed were mandated to, in collaboration with inhabitants, to engage in revamping the county, especially Menji. Deliberations at the conference led to a series of resolutions to help restore the social cohesion, growth, dignity, and cultural identity for the Lebelem people. After this conference, it is expected that the dignity of the people of Lebelem will be united on a common goal of peaceful cohabitation and development. We hope CPDM elites do not hijack this process, though. Coup plotters debacle. Squabbles in the coup plotters quarter have gone loud and public. We hear Christopher Anu, Gertrude Kisob, and Iya Marianta Ndo are already tearing each other apart for so-called elections. Is it a united republic of Ambazonia, or what would that be? Wonders will never end, they say. The word unity in Ambazonia brings chills to the bones. United Cameroon, Unity Palace, Unity Warriors, and we woke up this morning to hear Gertrude Kisob introducing a certain United Republic of Ambazonia. Where did she get that from? That's a discussion for another day. Intelligence has it that John Egawa, in unison with Abongwa and Marianta, have turned against Christopher Anu, Mike Fusil, and the US-Canada axis. We are told that the divide centers around money they don't even have. According to Anu, Marianta cannot raise money, so he wants to be a messiah to his fund drive. But as we peruse through the social media, Ambazonians are really not taking it lightly. They have got some questions to ask. Well, take a pause and listen.
Now, Ambazonians that demand Christopher Anus to answer these questions. Number one, what are the guarantees that Anu, who sought to corrupt the leader, shall not promote and epitomize corruption? That's the first one. The second one, Anu first threw a baseless impeachment by dividing and destroying the RC. What are the guarantees that Anu shall uphold and maintain the integrity of our national institution? Number three, can Anu disclose the identity of the armed dealer to whom $135,000 US was disbursed to supply Ambazonia weapons? Number four, now that Anu has allegedly killed his brother, FMA, what are the guarantees that Anu shall not easily kill another Ambazonian fighter who are not related to him? Number five, Anu divided the IG on allegations of bad governance and is currently dividing his breakaway faction on the basis of allegiance and pliability, which is twisted, coerced, and compliance. Can Anu vouch not to divide Ambazonians for his personal ends? Number five, can Anu disclose to Ambazonians the identity of those who killed FMA? Number six, Anu just said other candidates can come to his ABS TV to campaign but not to talk against any other leader. Can Anu explain why he spoke against his babysitter Marianta? Is Marianta no longer a candidate in the so-called inexistent IG? Well, these questions are begging for answers.
Questions. Ambazonians have a lot of questions burning down their mind after this whole incidents. We're not done with the questions, there's still a lot more from Ambazonians. They also go on to ask, the seventh question was, Anu says he wants to unite because he has always been a unifying agent, but did not reveal his past outings against Ayabacho Lucas, Dos Sissoko, and President Sako. Did he not say he shall never sit on the same table with the two above? How will he manage to reconcile this point? 8. Anu has criticized the leadership of the interim government as well as former President Sisiko with his babysitter Marianta for not being able to deliver Ambazonia and manage funds raised, but did not tell Ambazonians that he was present in all the leaderships and what he did to secure the management of funds. What he equally did to help Marianta raise the required funds needed to fight the war. So he could do a better fundraising, but refused to help his babysitter Marianta to raise funds. He failed to tell Ambazonians that the same people from Fako, Momo, and Mencham counties who mismanaged county draft funds and refused auditing are the ones sitting with him on his campaign trail. There's a lot of questions, and that one was Anu has not brought forward the evidence from the CDC deal and hasn't told Ambazonians what he had been discussing with Paul Tasang and Colonel Bankwi. The same Paul Tasang, Chris Anu is now saying he killed his brother, FMA. He supposedly must have been discussing how to take out his brother to bring Lebialem to normalcy. He agreed with Colonel Bankwi. There is a lot of question to this whole fracas between this sect, Chris Anu, Marianta, and the rest of them. There is a whole lot of questions to this.
And yes, we can go on and on and on, but we are not the only ones that have a view to this particular issue on who Christopher Anus is. Ochiba Nelson has a relative reaction as well, but we can only treat that reaction when we are back from this break. Now, activist Ochiba Nelson, on his part, brings in rhetorical questions. He titled it, "Who is Christopher Anus, alias Muna 3?" Now, his rhetoric starts with this. He says, "The manipulator, deal maker, I brought the deal." Of course, that's Chris Anu's statement. La Republic, the Cameroon presidential candidate, introduced without Ambazonian national anthem in his blue, white, red France colors television. He led another deal and duped the interim government of $135,000 US, which he later said was a scam. A man who surrounds himself with embezzlers and fraudsters, and when he achieves his objective, he dumps them all. A man who thinks the man with the loudest voice reflects wisdom. A man who sings praises to himself, carried by share views of views. A man who reads the Bible upside down, if you judge from his actions. A double agent who sinks actions on the ground, then steals money meant to trigger that action. A man who asks the Liberland people to come out from the forest and clean their homes and open community schools just to return to normalcy, and asks Lagmi to open roads so that La Republic du Cameroon schools can operate. He was once against Mezam lockdown in solidarity with Bali. He is, of course, a La Republic du Cameroon pro.
A man who bullies women, a man who dines with Unionists and Federalists, Paul Tassong, Frundi, Fru Jonathan, Munzu, Emily Bankwi, Ellie Smith, Noel Ibini, etc. A man with a short memory of his lies. First, the problem is Irene Ngwa, the bad cocoyam who spreads her tentacles everywhere. Next, the problem is not Irene Ngwa, it's a dysfunctional government. Then it's Dr. Sacco. Next, Marianta is doing great. Next, Marianta is a failure. Next, Dr. Sacco is raising internet money. Next, Dr. Sacco mismanaged internet money. Next, Dr. Sacco is trying with the draft by raising money. He forgets he scammed $135,000 US from the interim government and turns to blame it on Dr. Sacco as mismanagement, and has refused to disclose the identity of his partner in crime, protecting him over Ambazonia. Dr. Sacco couldn't travel to Europe because he has no papers, but he forgets he and Dr. Sacco have been to Europe twice. We impeached and removed Samuel Ikome Sacco, but unfortunately he's going nowhere. Chris Anu, the pretender, when Success in Congo was playing Emily Bankwi's audio in Chris Anu's show, he pretended not to be listening and kept speaking to his innocent telephone, "Please hold the line," etc.
Now, Ochiba Nelson continues. He says, now he fixes brother's death to deceive the naive and collect more money. He organized a memorial service for a living Mano, 70 years old Mano. Well, he rallied a coalition of activists he used to refer to as irrelevant activists to help him navigate his way, fight Dr. Sako, and has now abandoned the so-called irrelevant activist. These activists vowed to bring Dr. Sako and the interim government down to no avail. Are they going to fight Chris Anu? No, because he will roar and they're confused and shall be bribed with chicken change. Even those enablers surrounding and singing praises to Chris Anu shall also be abandoned by the time they finally arrive Yaoundé. Even Abongwa, Egwaon never knew Chris could abandon them at the motor park, partners in crime. Chris Anu has been building a network for years and even cornered me that we should take a federation, prepare and fight in 20 years. I schooled him, and from that day, he knew I'm a rock. He then gathered activists to write and distance themselves from me, cloned my account, hacked my email, etc. Who cares with go for before? Back activist. One even stole a TV.
Now Chiba Nelson ends it this way. Ambazonians, let's stand up as the never again generation. Going by Chris and coup plotters means going to Yaoundé. When Chris Anu says don't call president, call him a comrade, and that he wants to gather everyone, it means that they have already crafted the Revolutionary Council deal. That it is meet La République du Cameroun as a group of Anglophones, not as a government. When I say they claim I'm a conspirator, rather, there are already a flyer circulating calling for Congress for one Cameroon, in which the authors identified 83 names as being the people La République du Cameroun should meet with. A selected names of people they claim control forces on the ground. You need to see the names. Draft, join your local government areas, economic sabotage, fire for fire, until La République du Cameroun comes to Switzerland for Swiss talks.
And yes, so the question this evening, who is Christopher Anus? Do you have any of the answers that we are seeking for this evening? I'm sure activist Akambi has some of the answers we are seeking for, but we'll come back to him and Mr. Tar right after this break.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best.
Alright, you're welcome back. Who is Christopher Anus? Mr. Akombe, back to you.
Okay, I did work for Chris Anu for a very short period of time, and it was not very democratic. He had very fixed ideas, and it was a case of basically regurgitating what he wanted to hear. But the problem with Chris Anu is when he came out himself. This is the most unbelievable thing I ever heard. He came out himself at a time when we are suffering from genocide, when they are burning our houses and the soldiers everywhere. He said that he had a deal from CDC. I do not believe what I just heard. And I did not know what was actually going on there. I mean, he had a deal from CDC. He didn't elaborate on it, but deal means money. So somebody had given him money to basically, I'm just trying to extrapolate here. Somebody's giving them money to make sure that CDC doesn't get, disturbed in their business. And he's collected the money. At the same time, he's collecting money from drafting. So they're giving him money to run his television program. At that same time, he's also collecting money from La République du Cameroon. So it was double dealing. He admitted himself that I had a deal from CDC. At that time, he was still, that's before they threw him out of the interim government. So I'm afraid to say at that point, he almost destroyed the revolution by making that statement. And I just had an opinion of what I really think is. Okay? I put an audio out saying to Chris Anu, I made sure everybody could hear it, that he should basically leave the struggle. He should just disappear. Because what he just said, everybody, people are not stupid. We heard what you said. And what you've said is if somebody, people will be looking for your blood. Okay? People will be looking for your blood. What you've done there is the worst kind of sabotage that anybody can do to a group. But going forward, I think sometimes we need to keep the narrative in one direction. Okay? I have come to the conclusion that there's something wrong with Chris Anno. That's a personal opinion based on what I've heard him say, based on his activities, based on his behavior in the new government that he created. Because when he left, I put an audio out saying, if you don't want to be in the interim government, leave and create your own thing. Go do your own thing, but stop attacking the interim government. I don't think he listened to me, but from what is going on and what he has been doing and what he has been saying while he's moved away, I mean, he got thrown out by Sako, he got sacked. But from what he has been doing, I've come to the conclusion that Chris Anno has some kind of mental problem. I mean, it's probably the most arrogant thing for me to say, but his statements are contradictory. He doesn't make any sense. He's doing deals and then coming to reveal what he's done and expect people to still embrace him. The only way you can be like that is if you've got something wrong with you. So for me, we should basically, if we rely too much on these kind of people, we might forget where we are going. Our country has our people are suffering from militarization, burning of houses. Our people are being thrown out of their houses. We have refugees everywhere. I personally think if we focus on how to alleviate these problems, it is going to put us in good stead than if we start to focus too much on these people that we have identified as problematic, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So how do we stop burning of villages? How do we stop the soldiers coming into our area? If we just, how do we finance the soldiers? How do we get the villages to be protected from La République soldiers just going and killing people? How do we need security guards in there? I think we can move this narrative in a direction which is going to benefit us, because if we try to, in English they say, pick your battles. If you want to fight every single person, you are going to miss the direction where you're going. So, you look at people like John Idiawan, Chris Anu, and all of that, Marietta, and all of that business. I have stayed away from it because I just think it's too much to take on.
Right.
Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
We have a problem which is quite pressing. We got this problem with La République right now, and we really need to be knocking our heads together. They just killed Field Marshal. They went around advertising it and trying to show. They are playing the game of social media very strongly, and I think if we play the game of let's try and deal with Chris Ano, let's try and deal with Marianta, let's try and deal with Akwanga, let's try and deal with Cho Ayaba, the distractors are just too many. And I think what we need to do is to zoom in what we can do just focus on getting to our destination.
All right, Mr.
Keep
Kumbe.
the
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. No, what you're
Keep
saying
the
is
story. We've been annexed. So the thing is, don't let La Republic don't let La Republic of guard here. He's annexed us. We've asked him to leave, and I think we should continue to plant that message in his ear. Whether he brings Joe Ayaba,
mind
or he
of
brings Chris, or whoever comes to distract us, I think we need to just remind our Republic that yes, we can see all these people, but what we are saying is you need to leave Southern Cameroon because the United Nations did not ask you to take over our country.
true.
You don't have any right to control our country. There is
True.
no evidence, you don't have any document to prove that Southern Cameroon is your property. I think we should keep the narrative like that and learn to dismiss these side shows because they will be there.
Yeah, Mr. Kumbe, you've made like so many valid points here tonight. You've made a lot of points. And from the beginning of your speech, you've said something quite striking that you've already rephrased again just now. You talked about maintaining the status quo and not letting people like Chris Anu Marianta and the rest of them distract Ambazonians and the interim government from the main goal, which is getting to the negotiation table and having Ambazonia back for their countries. And indeed, you mentioned something, the deflection tactics, and there's a lot of sense in there. The deflection tactics, that is what all of this is about. And you've given a lot of examples where the deflection tactics came in, distracting Ambazonians from the main goal and the main point, just so they, start fighting every other thing that is inconsequential and leaving the major process, which is getting back Ambazonia for ourselves as our country, as our own. Well, you've made so many valid points here tonight. And in that regard, I would like to know, what do you think can foster this process? Because obviously you stated it, La Republique du Cameroon do not want to do anything for Ambazonians, not even the basic things called roads. They don't want to do anything because they don't even have the capacity anymore financially. They're economically bankrupt. They don't even have the capacity anymore to help Ambazonians for their roads and anything else. So what do you think? Since they don't want to come to the negotiation table, you mentioned the timber where they get to take all of Ambazonians' resources without doing anything with it for them in their villages, counties, or towns. They don't do anything. They just get their resources. What do you think the interim government should do in regards to making Ambazonia get closer to our state of independence, becoming a federal state on its own? Is there anything as an activist with all this wisdom you've poured out here tonight, you think the interim government can do any better? Because La Republique will always drag their feet when it comes to the negotiation table. What do you think the interim government should do to foster the process of the getting back Ambazonia?
Very good question. Very, very good question. I think the first thing is just keep the narrative. Just stay on. I think when I media, I find 90% of the people are deviating. They are deviating because they're not picking their battles. In life, you have to pick your wars. You can't, even America has to pick its wars. America sometimes, they have problem with Iran. They have problem with Russia. They have problem with China. But at some point, they need to look at all these distractions and say, okay, we can handle Russia right now. So what we're going to do, we're going to focus on, and we're going to give weapons to Kenyans to fight Russia. And then when it comes to China, we're going to back off a little bit. We're going to try and negotiate our way through that. When it comes to Iran, we're not going to attack Iran. We're going to do a bit of a deal with those cases. They are aware of all the problems, but what they're doing is they have a goal. They know why they're going in a particular direction. I think the interim government at the beginning and even now, they have a direction where they are going. The direction that you are going is that your country has been taken over by another country. That is understood by the United Nations. Let's not beat around the bush. The United Nations knows, which is why they said to La République go back to the root causes of the problem. They've told La République that the American government has said these people need autonomy. That is the American government. The British government has said the same thing. So we need to focus. I know I'm repeating myself, but we need to actually just focus on that issue and make sure that La République understands that we are not going to be bamboozled or defeated from any of that. The ghost towns, which are fantastic, every Monday, everybody knows about the ghost town, but this is the problem. When I speak to people in Cameroon and I say, why are you having ghost town on Monday? Now we country Sunday, now we think, now we normal thing. The problem with that, they don't have a decision of why they're doing it. So you need to make sure every Monday, I'm not, this is a suggestion. Every Monday, you drum it into these people that this particular ghost town you're doing is for annexation. You are telling La République to leave your country. So if you are staying in your house, that is the message that La République needs to get. This ghost town, this Monday, is to tell you that you are not supposed to be controlling my country. So in that case, you're actually using the ghost town correctly, because just allowing people to be having ghost towns as if it's a holiday, the impact is not fair by La République, and they don't understand what they're doing. La République needs to know that this man here on Monday is basically believe, and that's really okay. The third point, which I've noticed, I've made a lot of audios on this. Remember, it's very easy. I don't want to say everything today, but I'll go on with this, right? It's very easy to destroy something, but it's very difficult to build. If you spend $20 million to build an international stadium, I can spend $200 to bring it down. Okay? Now let's remember this. If La République thinks that they can just come to Southern Cameroon and come and be destroying houses, burning, they should remember that inside La République, they have enough which can be destroyed by Southern Cameroonians, and it will not cost us any money. They should know that the Ambazonians have not gone and destroyed their state, destroyed their clubs and destroy their cinemas and destroy their governments. Does not mean that they should not push these boys to destroy your own things. Think about it. They are coming to our place. They're using matches, which is what, 5 francs or 25 francs. They light it, burn a roof of a house. How much will it cost me to go to San Malema, light a match, and burn their own? It's not going to cost any money. Whether I have an evil mind or I want to retaliate or not. So they should be very careful when they are going around and destroying Southern Cameroon. They think that somehow they are immune from it. They don't have monopoly for over destroying people's property. They don't have the monopoly. If you come and burn my house, I can burn your own. And I am warning La République du Cameroon. Fortunately, they are in a decision, will have no choice but to start their property.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. Let's allow Mr. Tar say something. I know that he has this burning, I don't want to use the word sensation when it comes to issues relating to Christopher Anu. So please, Mr. Tar, over to you.
Yeah, relatively, I just want to start from top, from where Comrade Akube was just talking. Cameroon does not have monopoly monopoly to cause havoc in Amazonia. That is a statement I've gotten from all you've said. Reality, not have it. But the good news is that the interim government too doesn't even have a policy to cross over. It is not of the policy of the interim government to cross and to do it like you rightfully. It will and to them. It will cost nothing. But war, like the president once says, war is the evolution of the war. You can necessarily predict what will be happening. If 6 years ago, Amazonians never taught their sons and wives to arm because they have to live a duty to exist as a people. And how did we even get here? You see, like because of Cameroon's tactic to distract us um, from what is things that are very important. You're fighting a war like the war we're fighting has to do with communication. I find the people of Amazonia are so determined to make sure that platform continues to exist so we can inform. I would say I don't have any sensational whatever attack I put on here when it comes to, but I have a categoric and an extreme stand when it concerns Mr. Arnold. For one thing, by some, I would say a privilege of his lifetime as a purported journalist that is at least close to 60s, he was a mouthpiece. He was the spokesperson for a people who are suffering. And you heard what Comrade Eyong Akumbe just said there, that he is most certainly suffering from a psychiatric disease. His brain is not functioning rightly. You heard, and why do we need to reiterate this on our state media? Is so that our people, it's a very dangerous thing if the people are misinformed and are disinformed. Because if we allow Cristiano's narrative to infiltrate the, 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 the nooks and crannies of Amazonia into the minds and hearts are constantly or consistently and every day without us countering. We may are poorly orientated or they have been disorientated and then they are not going to the right direction. The things that will make us to get into that information we're giving to them. So the stories you guys just brought in helps Amazonians that maybe not be properly informed and that are maybe being deceived by the so-called Messiah, this person that has just woke up this morning to tell Amazonians he wants to unite Amazonians. And you heard you and there bringing the facts. This is the scatterer that wakes up in the morning. He scatters in the night and wakes up in the morning and wants to unite. He has scattered Amazonians more than any other person has done. And what gave him that impetus or that platform was because Amazonians gave him a platform that he had prior to the time that he was given. So we are taking the duty now. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. time, UN and World Child to specifically not objective a platform, no, but that our people are derailed by this because the word unity has been used as a struggle that we had to exist with, a nation to live by, to live better with. And Aijo came one and told us that for the nation to be a better economy, we need to be united. So he transformed it from the Federal Republic of Cameroon into the United Republic, and now called us West Cameroon and called themselves East Cameroon. That was a change of the plan. And so that was a direct where our status as equal status was affected. And President Biya comes now, 2019, to audaciously propose for us status. What he means that in their setup, le Cameroun dans la Francophonie, a colony that have annexed us. So we are a colony under a colony, and in that institution, whatever you want to call it, the Franco-Cameroon hegemony, they want to give us a special recognition there. And they're narrowing it down to language problem. Preferably want to call it the Anglophone crisis. So why do we place a check on all of this that you hear the others are talking here? It falls under one strategy that Cameroon is using, the divide to conquer strategy. They want to use somebody that purports our flag, calls our name Amazonia, to do the things that would distracted a struggle. Amazonia got their biggest victory since the past 60 years last year, where the dignity was restored in every community in the world. Every media in Cameroon was bleeding. Clergy, men and women in Cameroon were crying, were losing their name. At the peak of that beauty, Cristiano woke up one day to tell Amazonians not happening. And he didn't end it. He went ahead to destroy it for a political agenda. Thank God, in his own team, we now know those who didn't believe what I said last year. I told even people in the communications department here that these are the objectives. These are his objectives. They argued, and today surfaced, and we know it. We will make sure that Amazonians connect between the memo of last year, memo to the cabinet that the function correctly, and the aspiration to come a president today. Thank you very much.
All right, thank
I'm
you
done.
so much, Mr. Paddy. Thank you, Mr. Paddy. There's something I was going to ask to Mr. Akambi in regards to, Ambazonians generally. One thing I've noticed, basically, it is so obvious, it is a crystal fact, the fact that Ambazonians are obviously marginalized and treated very unfairly. And you talked today about them. One time you talked about Ambazonians having their caterpillars, you said that, being taken from them and taken to Yaoundé and probably sold back to Ambazonians for premium prices. And that reminds me of, a story we read a couple of times where Ambazonians bike riders, they just have their bikes arrogated from them for no reason. And one story we read had someone's bike given to La République du Cameroon's military personnel, given to his brother. A bike someone worked so hard for, someone used to make a living, was taken from him and given to the brother of someone in the military in La République du Cameroon. So our Ambazonians' rights have obviously been taken away from them. I was going to get your advice to Ambazonians. What do you think, what you advise can be the renewed call to self-defense, protection, and protection of human rights of Ambazonians? What do you think could be an individual call to protection of their rights? What do you think they can do to preserve their human rights?
Okay, a good question. The problem you have is that we have examples of this already. I have put an audio out about Congo. We have Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, Mugabe killed about 30,000 people from the Ndebele tribe because they didn't like him. He just went and killed 30,000 people. John Mugabe. In Congo, we where you have the diamonds and the coltan, Kabila, together with the president of Rwanda, they have managed to kill nearly 5 to 10 million people who live in the belt of east in Congo, where you have all the diamonds and that. You can check that yourself. You can check that on YouTube about Congo, and it's a fact. When I saw it, so where are we going with this? The problem with all these people, they never defended themselves. They went through, some of them were very religious people, and they never defended themselves. They prayed, they went to the United Nations, they complained, but they just kept getting killed. And finally, the United Nations sent peace, and some of the peacekeepers ended up peace. And some of them have been indicted, the peacekeepers, some of them have been indicted for killing those same villagers. Some of them are dealing in diamonds and all kind of things. So where am I going with this? The only way to stop that kind of genocide on your people is self-defense, and that is where the Southern Cameroonians have been different. The Southern Cameroonians have defended themselves resolutely, and they have. There's no need to every minute I lay down my weapon. I need to go to the DDR. When somebody starts killing you, they get into a habit of killing you. If you listen to the radio or to the news, there will be no week where a Southern Cameroonian has not been killed in a village. The only way to stop genocide is to start fighting, which you are already doing, but you need to defend yourself. If I had my way, even the villages, I'll have security guards in the villages. I'll have somebody, I'll have a security guard in every village, 1 or 2 security guards hiding somewhere to make sure that if these Cameroon armies are coming and one of them decide to stray into the village to start killing people, it's going to be gone down. These guys have to be prepared for war. This business of going into bed with La République du Cameroon and then they're killing you every time, that is not a good thing to do. You need to say, look, this guy, I've got examples of the Cameroon armies killing people continuously, not 2, not 3. We're 50,000. It's increasing. People are, internally displaced. Sometimes the armies go and shoot them in the bushes. So we are dealing with a situation that is dire. It's absolutely dire, and the issue is to sit down. Some of the intellectuals and some of the technicians and some of the military guys, they don't have time to even be quarreling with each other. They should sit down and come up with a plan to stop all of this. And it's not easy, but you have to sit down and think, okay, each time they go and fight in Womb, on their way back, if they've lost, they go and shoot some villagers, or they go and burn a village. You have to pre-plan for this. Cameroon army has a set way that they behave. They infiltrate an area, they start to fight, they lose some soldiers, they start to run away. On their way out, they go through some villages, they shoot some people in there, burn some villages. This is going on. They've been recorded doing this. So you can easily plan for that. You can say, okay, they've just gone into Bui now. So on their way back, they're going to go past some villages. So what we're going to do, we're going to put one man there, waiting for them if they stray. How can I explain it? We have to prepare for this possible genocide. We cannot just sit back and think it's going to go away. La République is biting and blowing. 1 minute they're saying, oh, we are friends. They send Ngute. The same day, they've killed 10 people in another place. I think the same day when Ngute came to Southwest, I think they killed 10 people in a village. I think that was when the Gabo massacre happened, when Ngute was out making speeches. So they're thinking of ways of killing us. So we have to really, really realize that we are almost like an endangered species. That's what we are. We are an endangered species. So we need to plan for that.
I
Okay?
think that I actually think that we are an endangered species. If not, what is it? In 2017, September 22nd, mothers, boys, young girls went out with peace plans for a peaceful protest, and live bullets